tribute that I will read on behalf of our family. Forgive me here. Okay. Some of you may have known Tony as the Golden Gloves boxer, or some of you as the Metro bus driver, the avid concert goer, the party hoster, or the weed smoking hippie.
All the above.
And it's legal now. Or perhaps the custodian who worked the press box at the Buffalo Bills game that did nothing more, or that did more watching of the games than cleaning. Whichever lane of his life brought you to Tony, the one constant was that he was a devoted and loyal person to us all. When we discuss someone's life in its entirety, the quote, what they did becomes less important than the quote, who they were. And the who they were is what remains. And man, did our father have a story to tell. Growing up in Puerto Rico, the eldest of 11 siblings, he was revered as a patriarch to them. It is in this tight-knit community, or tight-knit home, that the importance of a strong foundation built on love and dedication to the family unit was instilled. This example made our family who we are today. Coming from Puerto Rico at a young age, English was not his first language. Anyone who knows him knows that even after 75 years in this country, he still didn't quite grasp it. And after years of being here, his Spanish got very questionable as well. When our brother Xavier was born, it took him about 3 months to stop asking Sharon, how do you spell his name again? He would often say idioms that didn't make sense. Your room is a pig's eye. You're a pigsty. Or pronounce words completely incorrect. But you couldn't tell him otherwise. He was the most stubborn person you'd ever meet. Standing at a whopping 5'4", trying to get him to do something he didn't want to do felt like trying to move a mountain. Stubborn to a fault, he lived his life on his own terms, and he truly did things his way.
That's right.
One of his friends referred to him as King Tut growing up, and the name stuck because he really thought that's who he was. Now, this is for you, Mary. Our sister Mary shares this trait. And during his last hospital stay, she persistently called the nurse's station until they broke down and agreed to let us bring his beloved furry companion Precious into the hospital, breaking all hospital codes. This may be the first time a pet has ever been allowed into Mercy Hospital as a visitor.
That's awesome.
The positive examples of who our father was as a person and the depth of his character became more clear when we were looking at his life in its totality. What we always knew, but sometimes seem to forget, we have been reminded of in his departure from us. Tony had a larger-than-life personality and exuded confidence. Those two attributes allowed him to make friends with everyone from a stranger in a store to the shyest person in the room and everyone in between. However, calling them strangers was a misrepresentation. Because to Tony, there were no strangers, just friends yet to be made. In fact, when our brother Jose was born, he made friends with the dad across the hall, whose son Dean was born just hours before, and to this day, that was the beginning of the lifelong friendship between Dean and Jose. They are still friends, best friends actually. Although he wasn't the biggest man in the room, his presence always exceeded his stature.
Oh, yeah.
Big and bold, he had a magnetic pull to him. That would led him to be the center of the party, whether it was performing card tricks, playing dominoes, spinning someone around on the dance floor. Well, actually, one of the apartments that Mom and Dad lived at together, he turned the basement into a party pad, complete with a DJ booth and a dance floor.
Damn right.
Winstead. And that's how we grew up, and also how they got kicked out of every apartment that they lived in.
That's true.
With parties and people over for any occasion. Music playing throughout the whole house. Noise was always on the agenda. We're Puerto Rican after all. Birthday parties were no exception. And when it came time to sing in happy birthday, after every verse he would scream
Louder.
until everyone was shouting. A Bills game where the party would spill out onto Abbott Road with all the Bills fans driving home from the stadium. Even his daughter Nikita's birth couldn't stop him from watching the game, and back and forth from the delivery room to watch the game. And Nikita was close to being called or named Cornelius. Our home was a constant rotating door of family and friends coming to visit. It was not uncommon for us to have someone staying there for days, weeks, or even months. And it wasn't until adulthood that it was realized what a unique and selfless act that was. After Dad's passing, with people calling and visiting, one constant theme of conversation was, "Your dad helped me when I had nobody else." We didn't always have a lot of tangible or financial wealth to help, but what we did have was shared amongst anyone who needed it. And the intangible things, love and support, were given in abundance. There are moments in your life where you can look back and say that a singular moment or decision completely shapes your entire destiny. That moment for our dad was the day he met our mom, Sharon. Our dad, being 10 years older than our mom, at 16 years old, her family forbade her to be with him. Maybe it was a stubborn tenacity, or maybe it was really love at first sight, but she chose to defy her family and snuck out her bedroom window to be with him.
Can we point out
Yes,
that this man
she
right here?
actually snuck out without a ladder, just on the shoulders of a tall friend. Now, for the teenage ears listening to this is not acceptable behavior. Despite naysayers saying a love that young and wild is doomed from the start, they stood the test of time and have remained companions and true soulmates for the next 53 years. Our mom devoted her life and entire being into this partnership and to her children, a true example of what making a house a home is. Though times weren't always easy due to ongoing medical issues and hospital stays, she proved that vows for better and for worse in sickness or in health weren't just words.
Right.
God bless you, Sharon.
Amen.
Amen.
The patriarch of our family left us on New Year's Day this year. It is to no surprise that he held on through Thanksgiving, his birthday, Christmas, his 53rd anniversary to Sharon, and his favorite holiday, New Year's Eve. This was his way of showing us that he fulfilled his time with us and was ready for the next season of his life. We take comfort in knowing that his last moments on this physical earth were once surrounded by friends and family constantly, and he truly found joy in each and every visit and day he had until the end. We have no doubt that he waited until all these important days had lapsed before he departed from us. What Tony means to this family is too much to put into words. The comic relief, the showman, the patriarch, and the glue that holds it all together. We will keep your memory alive. Excuse me. We will keep your memory alive in the way you would want us to. Through, and anybody knows him knows this part, through the too long and too tight of hugs, to the too scruffy and too wet of kisses, through the laughter, the music, the signs are always with us. We know you're onto your next adventure, flying high, very high,
With the Eagles.
and we know that your final wish has come true. I would like to close this with a poem by Gladys Darlene Browning. It's called Soaring with Eagles. I am waiting for that day when my soul will be called away, and I'll join with the eagles upon high. I'll be singing around God's throne with all the saints who made it home, there to reign and never say goodbye. Eagles soar to their own place, a place not known to the human race. They rest upon the highest mountaintop, and they are guided by God's own hand as we are led throughout this land, and will find our resting place when we stop. Then we'll soar with eagles flying high above the clouds. We'll be as free and as happy as can be. All our cares will be gone, taken away by God's own Son. There in heaven, we will rest eternally. Thank you all. Miss you, Dad. Love you.
Love you, Dad. Thank you, Tito.